Well, welcome to my conclusion for the harvesting every 3 weeks project that I'm doing with my Worm Factory 360. Well, right now you notice that I'm in the garage. I'm in the crawl space rather. I had to relocate it down here due to high temperatures in the region in my shed. And if you notice right now, you see I have these little boards sticking in there. I put them in there to help a couple things. One, helps on getting the air in through the sides and everything like that, and also helps keep. I've learned that with 6 trays, if you load them as full as I have been, that the bottom trays get compressed excessively and it really starts restricting the airflow. So I'm probably overfilling them, but once again I'm working towards that volume as well as frequent. I don't want to just harvest every 3 weeks. Wasn't my goal. I want to obtain some quality and quantity. So I pretty much fill the bins pretty much up. Give you a real quick overview of what one looks like. If you can notice right here, this one here is not as full as I was doing. I ran out of some material when I made this bin, but it's about 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the top. So it's about half full right now. Got a little bit of burlap sitting on top. But most of them are between 1/2 to 3/4 of the way full. So with by putting these little block spacers in here, that helps one on getting temperatures down and aerating, as well as stops the compression. Getting back to the project, it's been a good success. In one way you could say it's overachieved, and another way you could say it was a failure. My goal is to harvest about every 3 weeks. As it turned out, now that my bins are mature and I have well over 5 pounds of worms, I'm harvesting in the vicinity of every week to every 2 weeks. For an example, just this last couple days ago, I had to harvest 2 trays because they was ready, and it was actually getting into the worm kill harvest where there was the worms that didn't abandon it down there in the lower bins were living in their own worm castings, and it was getting a little sickly looking. So I harvested the bottom 2 trays this time instead of 1 and put them up, and now they're doing real well. Got them out of their own compost. So I'm averaging, I would say on average, a bin a week and sometimes 2 a week. So I would say on a 3-week cycle, every 3 weeks I'm harvesting right around 4 bins. So it's going too quick. Part of the reason is I'm not doing traditional like I showed you before. I don't use just paper and food scraps. I don't generate enough food scraps here to be able to keep 1 bin full, feed them enough, because I'm gone half of the month. So basically what I do is I use my worm bedding mix like I showed you in my earliest videos, and between that, giving them a little bit of Purina worm chow and what table scraps we do have, I'm able to keep ahead of them. And that initial worm bedding mix gives them some food to eat on too, as well as the carbon. I sent out soil samples and stuff like that, compost samples, and got them back. I'll have them in a separate video that I want to do later on. I do apologize about the delay. I've been having camera problems. I hope this one comes out. Well, in short, for anyone that's interested in getting quantity worm castings, you know, in a timely manner, and you don't want to have to wait 3-4 months for each tray, regardless of what brand you use, if you follow somewhat the instructions that I laid out earlier in this project, you can harvest anywhere from every 1 to 3 weeks. If you use more of a table scraps and things of that nature, you'll be able to go a lot slower. I'm only able to put some scraps in there about once a week, and then I'm having to start a new tray up. So they don't get a whole lot of scraps, so they process a tray quickly and move up. But once again, if you have a larger family and a lot more table scraps that you can give them, then once again you'll be able to go a lot slower. But if you don't have a whole lot of table waste, you'll be able, and you use the bedding mix I said, once again every 1 to 2 weeks and sometimes twice a week, you'll be able to harvest and stockpile some good worm castings for your garden. I'm putting mine in sandbags and setting them up, so I'm going to use that also to fertilize the lawn. Thanks for joining me, and if you have any questions, comments, good or bad, please feel free to post, and I will be following this up here sometime in the near future with some things I learned, lessons learned I guess you could say, and some tools that can help you in your endeavors for vermicomposting. Thanks for joining me, and once again I look forward to any post or replies. Bye now.